Hi everyone, welcome to my presentation. My school improvement plan is on utilizing choice theory-based principles to increase student motivation. So a little background before we get into the specifics of the plan. I came up with the idea for this plan based on my action research study that I will be conducting once I obtain a teaching position. My action research study is on the impact of choice theory/reality therapy in special education. I chose to study this topic because I noticed a problem in the classroom that I assist in, and I've heard other teachers tell me that they're experiencing the same thing, and that is lack of student motivation and increased student misbehavior. Back in ED551, I had an assignment where I had to research some different educational theories, discipline theories, and one of those was Glasser's choice theory. And I found it really interesting. And once I noticed the problem occurring of decreased student motivation and more misbehavior or misconduct happening, I thought of Glasser's choice theory. So I wanted to investigate that and see how it could, or if at all it could impact in a positive way student motivation and decrease the misbehavior occurring. So another part of this is the COVID-19 pandemic. I believe that the toll it's taking on everyone and just being in this unprecedented time, it's causing hardships for everyone. And one of the subsequent effects of that is students' needs are not being met or satisfied to the level that they usually are. And based on Glasser's theory, these needs that aren't being met is what's causing the lack of motivation and the increase in student misbehavior. So I think that incorporating this theory into classroom management plans and instruction and environment and all of the above across the board in all schools could really work to address the problem and it be more of a permanent fix than a temporary fix, especially given everything that has been going on as a result of this unprecedented time that we've been in. For example, some of the data that supports that this is a problem happening in our school is just conversations I've had with other teachers about what they're experiencing with their students. Some teachers have students failing because they're just not doing anything. They're not logging on to their online learning sessions. Those who are still virtual students, assignments aren't getting completed to the extent that they need to be. There's been more discipline problems. And we've experienced the same thing in our classroom. So to me, it's evident that it is a problem that needs to be addressed. And I think I have a good plan to do so. Before I get to the process that I have in mind to incorporate this, I want to give a little introduction to choice theory for those who don't know what it is. Here is a short video that just kind of breaks it down and simplifies it.
Hello and welcome to Teachings in Education, the 5 student needs from William Glasser and choice theory. As teachers, you can address the needs of your students and create a positive classroom culture. William Glasser argues that all behavior serves a purpose. In his work, he describes 5 basic needs that essentially motivate any of the various types of behaviors that you'll witness in a classroom. His ideas are quite simple. If a student is bored, they'll begin to act out. Young children and adolescents are subject to their emotions, and many times, student feelings are a result of these needs just not being met. You may see a student despondent and sad. Think to yourself, what basic human needs are not being met on behalf of the child? Now let's identify the 5 basic needs described. First up is survival. Survival is the most basic of all student needs. Before a student can learn anything, their basic needs of food and shelter must be met. When we talk about survival, we mean that students must have shelter, food, and nurturing. How could you possibly expect a student to focus on their schoolwork when they don't know where their next meal is coming from or where they're going to sleep at night? If you are a teacher, you must do your best to get students help. First, make sure these children have food to eat and places to sleep. Reach out to various services. The next basic need to explore is belonging. Belonging is described as having affiliations with other students. Students should feel that they are a valued part of the classroom and community. Every student wants to be a part of the group. Even the most rebellious students, deep down, want to be accepted by their peers. As a teacher, create opportunities through collaborative learning for students to form bonds with one another. The next basic need on the list is freedom and offering choices. Students must be given the opportunities to make their own choices and take responsibilities for the choices that they have made. Now, obviously, freedom doesn't mean letting students do whatever they want. Teachers just need to give their students a little bit of a voice, solicit some feedback from their students, and offer them choice in their assignments. Help students become independent and self-directing. On to the 4th basic need, empowerment. Students want to feel powerful in their decisions, and they want to feel that their decisions make a difference. Students should not feel that they are owned or controlled by the school system. Each person desires to be a master of their own destiny. And youngsters especially don't really have a feeling that they have power over their lives. Too often, teachers engage in contentious arguments and aggressive confrontations as they get involved in a power struggle with students. Every once in a while, empower your students, but not too often. Now, on to the last need mentioned, fun and enjoyment. Don't underestimate the importance of having fun in the classroom. Students need to have fun in the classroom every once in a while. Don't be afraid to make learning a fun experience. Don't be afraid to inject a laugh into your lesson every once in a while. Allow the students to play novel learning games. Teachers need to make that effort to make their classrooms an enjoyable place. Throw a birthday party for your students. Have celebrations, whatever you have to do to make it fun. Now, remember, students behave in a certain way to meet their needs. As a teacher, neglecting to meet your students' needs will lead to a disruptive and dysfunctional classroom. By understanding these needs and addressing them, teachers will understand student behavior and create a positive classroom culture. Right now, I want to say please subscribe to my channel, check the description link below for resources, and please link and share this video.
All right. So hopefully now you have a better understanding of choice theory and can see how incorporating these principles and being more mindful about meeting student needs and structuring your classroom as such can have a positive impact on student learning, student behavior, and subsequently they'll be more motivated to work for themselves and work for you. So the plan of action I've come up with to equip teachers with the necessary knowledge and tools to do this begins with setting up a meeting with the building principal and PLC leaders to discuss the plan, gather feedback, and obtain approval. During this meeting, I think it would be a good time to present an action research study that shows the existing literature that supports choice theory being successful in increasing student motivation and creating positive student behavior. If given approval, the next step would be to reach out to and coordinate with a representative from the Glasser Institute for Choice Theory to set up a training session or sessions that will take place in each team's designated PLC meeting time for the duration recommended by the Glasser Institute. So, for instance, in our school, we have PLC leaders and we have PLC teams. Each team is broken up by subject. So there's an English PLC team, there's a math PLC team, an electives PLC team, and etc. So during their designated meeting time is when the training would take place, as to not have to coordinate meeting before school or after school, is with the goal of PLC trying to do embedded on-the-job training. So I think that would be the best time to participate in this training. The next step is to receive the training during the PLC meeting time on how to incorporate choice theory into instruction and classroom management. Once the training has been completed, PLC teams will meet on a weekly basis to collaborate and discuss how each team member is utilizing what they've learned, and furthermore discuss whether they feel like what they're doing in their classrooms is working. So, not every classroom's the same. Not every teacher has the same students. So I want there to be, good parameters, but flexibility within those parameters to let teachers use the tools they think are going to benefit their students the most by meeting those students' needs. Because not every student's needs are different, so it's going to take different tools to meet those needs. So, that's why I want, after the training, there to be discussion and collaboration to see what the different team members are doing and bounce ideas off each other from there. How we want to collect the data to see if it's working is through weekly observations recorded by teachers that document how they incorporated choice theory into their classrooms to meet students' needs that week. And furthermore, I want them to document student participation levels, assignment completion, and student behavior. However, if you see that it's working or that it's not working, the frequency of the recorded observations can increase or decrease as needed to meet the needs of the PLC team members. And then to analyze the data during weekly PLC team meetings, those members will be required to bring their observations for all team members to read over, to analyze, to discuss, and give feedback to each other, and then continue that brainstorming process. And these meetings, in my mind, will kind of be continuous, doing this observations until the PLC collectively feels like they can scale back or they need to do more. But the overall goal is to make sure that students' needs are being met and student achievement is happening as a result of these needs being met. So just to recap, my plan is to utilize Glasser's choice theory to increase student motivation, which is a problem I've noticed occurring and and my fellow teachers have noticed occurring in this school year as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The plan is to reach out to the Glasser Institute for Choice Theory to have a representative come and train teachers during their designated PLC times to learn how to meet students' needs and use these choice theory principles to help shape their classroom management plans and instruction. And weekly observations will be utilized to track whether this program is working to increase student motivation and decrease student misbehavior. I hope that you enjoyed this presentation, and I thank you for hanging in there with me and watching this, and I look forward to your feedback and answering any questions that you may have. Thank you.